All right. So, welcome to our kitchen table chat. I wanted to talk about two different things tonight. The first thing is about um, how to kind of look at the elite requirements for this year, like so if you wanted to be a 2018 elite coach, and just kind of what that process looks like. And I'm going to screen share a elite goal guide. So those are like some things that you would look at for like monthly goals that you would want to set if you are, shooting for that goal. And it's actually really important to just kind of like learn and get acquainted with those kind of metrics and stuff, even if like even if you aren't like set for hitting elite in 2018, but it was something that you believed would be in your cards for the next year, like it's like you kind of have to start preparing the year before the year that you want to get it. Like it's a lot of things that have to come together. So anyways, I wanted to talk about that and share with you guys some of my thoughts on elite and the
I'm going to put my headphones in.
how they're a little different from previous years. And then I also wanted to share about this little like homework assignment that Scotty gave me while we were in Montana. And I did mine, and which is different. I don't always, I always sometimes push those things off, but I actually did it, and I thought it was really insightful. So I will go over that too. So first, let me go on to screen share. Well, actually, wait, before I do that, let's talk about just what Elite is, first of all. So Elite is a recognition program that Beachbody has for coaches. And it's basically like the top, like they have the top 10 coaches, and then like the next level under that would be elite, and then the next level under that is premier. And so those are their like recognition programs that are geared for growing and building a thriving business that is like staying active. So this is not a program that's meant for like a coach that signed up at the beginning and is just kind of like living on the fruits of their land. Like this is for coaches that are still like in the trenches, still signing coaches, still getting new coaches active enrolling in their business. So Fit Family Network, and it's definitely a team effort. It's definitely something that a coach cannot create an elite team by themselves. Like it takes the village effort to like, push hard and make it all happen and come together. And I think that's one of the beauties of elite is that you can't do it yourself. Like it really takes a team effort. But then that's also the thing that comes back to like bite you in the butt sometimes is that you can't do it yourself and you need other people. So sometimes that can be like a twisted place to be in. But it does really force you as a coach, like to stay relevant, to stay connected, and to share those goals with your team, which is definitely something that I have failed to do in the past. And so in, 2013, 2014, 2015, Fit Family Network was an elite team. And that was super awesome. And that was like some huge growth periods for our team. And there was like a lot of people that were building and growing. And then just some things had changed as far as how Beachbody was growing and that kind of thing. So we have not been elite in 2016 or 17, but I do really have it as a goal for this year, for 2018. And I'm really excited to like wholeheartedly be invested in that goal this year and like to be excited to work towards that goal this year. And I think that there's just a difference when you are excited about a goal and like you're excited because you believe that it's like it's time again. And I'm really excited to work towards that this year. And part of what the elite requirements are is that you are a 5-star diamond. Also that you have advanced to new diamonds. So like, even though I'm already like 5-star and above, I have to advance, like 2 coaches that have not been diamond before need to advance to diamond. And then there is the elite points. So I'm going to go ahead and go on screen share so we can talk about those things. Where'd it go? Okay. Okay, can you guys see the guide? Can someone, because the little screen went away, so I can't see you. So just somebody audibly tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, so here is the Elite Goal Guide, and this is a PDF, and I'm going to post the link for this in our group so that you can download it and have it. And because like I said, even if maybe you're a new coach or you just don't see that right now as what you want your goal to be for this year, it's still really good to start looking at these things and these metrics for your business either way. So, well, first of all, I probably should have said for the back office, the way to look at your points is you go into your online office and then under Monitor My Business, there is one that says My Elite Ranking. So that is where you go to see where you're at. The Elite Report comes out the second Friday of every month. So you can go in and just kind of check out and see where you're at. All right, so the first category on how you earn elite points is having personally sponsored coaches hitting Success Club. So this has to be your 2017 and 2018 coaches. So that means they had to have enrolled as a coach in 2017 or 18. Now, one thing to keep in mind that can be a little tricky with this is sometimes you can end up signing somebody up as a discount coach, and maybe they signed up as a discount coach like in 2017 and then enjoyed the benefits of having their Shakeology on discount for a full year, and then in 2018 is when they finally started to work the business. So even though they didn't start like being a business builder until 2018, it doesn't matter because like they enrolled in 2017, so you really only get the benefit of like that coach counting towards your elite points for those 2 years, regardless of if they're like a business builder or a discount coach. None of that stuff matters. It just matters their actual enrollment. So that is something to keep in mind. So the number of coaches that you get that are hitting Success Club, if you yourself also hit Success Club, then it doubles your points for that category. So you can see on this example in January, they are showing that this pretend coach had 2 coaches that hit Success Club in January, and then they themselves also hit Success Club. So that would be 4 total points that they earned in that category. And then you can just kind of see like, if you just kind of carry that through and see where that would land you. So in each category, there's also like a maximum that you can earn. So in this particular one, 50 points is the maximum that you can earn in this category. So it doesn't matter if you have 10 coaches that are hitting it every month, you're going to max out at that number. So the next category is acquisition PV, the APV category. And this one is a little bit different than they've done in previous years because they've combined having customer PV as well as PV from your new 2018 coaches. So before, like we never used to have any benefit for how much of our own customer sales we had. And that kind of sucked because like we really were only getting points on our new purchases if they were like signed up as a coach. And so now they changed it to where you're getting points both, and it has to be people that are signed up and enrolled in 2018. So any customers that you have. So for example, if you sold a challenge pack to Amy in January, you would get credit for that PV, and then if she like ordered Shakeology every month, so that would be 90 PV every month, that would go towards this category. And then it also counts the same for any of your personally sponsored coaches for their PV. So that would be their own purchases as well as their customer purchases as well. So that's a great way to earn. And if you are signing customers and coaches that are staying active, then this is going to be a category that you're going to be able to earn points in. And if you guys check your back office, especially those of you that are hitting Success Club regularly, you probably already have earned some points in this category. So for this one, the maximum points in this one is 50, I believe. Yeah, 50. So that one's a great one to, make sure that you're focusing on those and getting the points on that one as well. And then the third category is elite or PS coaches with at least 1 point in their first or second month. So this one is also a new category, and this one is really cool because it's kind of emphasizing getting your coaches started with Success Starters. So that's the program where the month that the coach enrolls, if they earn Success Club that month or the following month, then that gets them on track for Success Starters. But there was never an elite point benefit for that in the past. So this year, now you get points if your coach gets only like at least 1 Success Club point. It doesn't even mean that they got Success Club like 5 or 10. It just means that they got a point on the board their first month or that next month after they enrolled. So that's also a really great incentive because, sometimes a coach will sign up that wants to do the business and they sell a challenge pack. Like even if they sell a challenge pack to their husband or, their mom or something, like that's still a great success for them because they got their first sale. And then it also really incentivizes the coach because, you're also helping, to go towards those elite points in that category as well. So the total here is going to be 25 maximum. So the total amount of points that you need in order to qualify for elite is 105 points. And when you download this PDF, you'll be able to actually come in and like fill out your own numbers and get your goals together for, where you believe your points are going to come from. You can kind of get an idea of how many coaches you're going to need to be hitting Success Club each month, how many coaches and customers you're going to need, to get that 500 PV in category 2. So I don't remember if I explained that as far as the customer and personally sponsored PV, but you get 1 point for every 500 PV. So you'll also need to kind of break that down and, figure out how many points you believe you'll be earning there. So let's get out of here. All right. Did anybody have any questions about that? Did that make sense? Okay. Is Tanya frozen like that, or is that her screenshot? Oh, there you are. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, has anybody gone back and looked at their elite stuff yet for this year? Yes. Okay, good. I was super happy with mine because I had 7 points, which I think last year, I don't think I had any points in January. So I was like, yay, I'll take it. All right. So the little assignment that Scotty gave me, we were talking about like just what some of the things are that are different now between when we both started as coaches, and he was trying to get me to figure out like what's different between then and now. Like, am I doing things differently? Am I attracting different kinds of people? And it made me think about like some of my original coaches and even some of like the coaches that I signed maybe 3 years ago or so, like Sarah and Phyllis. those coaches are excited about Beachbody. Like, most of the people that I can think of that are still around and still actively building their business are actually Beachbody fans. Like, there are people that are excited to go to Summit. There are people that will wait in line to go to the super workout. There are people that would want their picture with any of this, the celebrity trainers or anything like that. And it was kind of eye-opening to me that most of the coaches I've signed over the last 2 years, like, I can't really imagine them doing things like that. Like, they didn't make that Beachbody love connection. And it just kind of made me wonder, like, why is that? Like, where did that get lost in translation to where we had Beachbody fans and then just people that were just signing up for something but never like got it like we did. And so Scotty had challenged me to make this list of traits that I would love to have like in my ideal coach. And we've kind of done this assignment before as far as like what we'd want our ideal customer to be. But so he told me to like write this list of my ideal coach wish list, and then to take it a step further and kind of like rate myself on how I'm doing on those things. And that part kind of sucks a little bit, like when you're just being truly honest with yourself. So I'm going to go down the list and then I'm going to give you what I honestly wrote down for my own rating system of 1 through 10. It's a very scientific system. And then like if you guys have, like if you want to write down the categories or just kind of think to yourself on one of them where, that sticks out to you, I would love to hear some feedback from you guys. But the first one I wrote down is that my ideal coach trait wish list is that they're committed to a Beachbody program and products, which is kind of obvious. And I rated myself a 10. Woohoo! That's definitely something like super consistent. Scotty has never had to say like, Jen, did you cancel your Shakeology? Like that's conversation has never happened. So, like I think it's very clear that I use all the stuff. I use the boost, I use the performance line, I use the programs, like I'm all in on that. The next thing I wrote down was that they read PD. And I rated myself a 6 there, just, being honest. I've had periods of time that I was probably a 9 or 10, but if I'm like just rating myself over this last like 6 months, I would say I would just rate myself a 6 because there's times like it's an up and down. There's times when I'm like super on it and then I go on a trip and I fall off, so there's that. The next thing is my wish list is that they would be coachable, that they would take feedback, criticism, or constructive criticism and implement changes. So I rated myself a 6. I think that I have a little bit of like we've talked about how some of the coaches that have been around longer are kind of like old dinosaurs and a little resistant to change sometimes. And so I know that I've learned things or seen things from other coaches and been like, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, that looks cool. But I always revert back to the same thing I've always done because that's just human nature. You always revert back to whatever you know and whatever has worked in the past. So I think that I can do better there. All right, the next one I wrote is excited about life. I know like when I was first a coach, I was super excited about life. Like not just Beachbody, but just in life, like was I passionate? I was joyful. I was excited. I was having fun. I was having fun in my marriage. The only thing that I didn't like was my job, which ended up being a great fire to get me to do what I did with the business. So I rated myself currently, I rated myself a 7. I still get into some funks sometimes, but so I thought a 7 was pretty fair for where I'm at. Disciplined, that would definitely be a great trait to have as a coach. And I rated myself a 5. So like I'm disciplined about the workouts and I'm disciplined about drinking the shake, but there's a lot of business activities that I don't always stay disciplined with. and especially with the way that I've created this flexible freedom lifestyle, it's also really hard when you're like in a business that requires discipline. So I've had a very hard time to find that balance of this life by design, work where you want to thing, and chaining yourself to a desk to like do these exact things in this exact order at this exact time. So I personally haven't found that super graceful balance of the two. So that's why I gave myself a 5. The next thing is reliable. There's nothing more frustrating than like when you are working with other coaches or something and you're like, hey, let's do a group call, Thursday night. And then like you and the other person are the only people that show up, or you set up a call and, the other person doesn't show up, or, oh, I forgot, things like that. And I rated myself a 7. Maybe I should have been an 8, but because I know that I've had times where I've been like, oh no, I forgot about that, or, but for the most part, I think I'm 7 or 8. The next thing is excited about the company. I can tell that some coaches that were like in a very big growth phase and very successful in this business that aren't successful now is because they stopped being excited about Beachbody. And there was a little bit of a phase where some of Beachbody's programs were not all that exciting. Like I know it was like Size came out and Country Heat came out. And like, if you're not into that, then you're just kind of like, well, what am I going to do? So, but the thing is that if you are representing this company and you are, truly going to do this, like you do have to just figure out a way to be excited about it. I mean, not every program has to be your favorite program, but you still have to like stay excited about Beachbody. And just because you don't love a certain program doesn't mean that you don't love the changes that people, like the life changes that are happening because of that program. So, what is that program? Like Shift Shop. That's a program that I will never probably do. I never bought the little thingies you put on the floor. Like it's just not me at all. I can't say that I've ever even suggested. I think I've suggested it to one person, but I was still excited about it. And I still think that the results and stuff that came from it is amazing. So, staying excited about the company is also important. The next thing I put is attends events. So events are not just Summit, but it's Summit, it's Super Saturday, it's the Success Club trip, it's any opportunity. Like sometimes there's like things where Sean T has his own little events, and there's, coaches that have their own events, like Miguel does that thing at Summit. And I've seen some other coaches like host larger events that you like, training events that you can go to and things like that. And or even trainings like the instructor trainings, that I would consider a Beachbody event. And I think that those are important because I remember when I was a new coach, or even before I signed up as a coach, I would see those posts from people and think that it was cool and be like, oh, wow, look, they're really meeting Sean T, or, oh, look at this, like, and they're at this fancy party dressed, all up in all their bombshell attire, like that was something cool to me. So like attending those events is important because you may not actually get something out of being there, but showing those pictures and showing like how big and grand some of Beachbody's events are and those kind of things, that shows people like, how like it just looks fun. It looks like you're doing something, it's different, and people will be attracted to that. So I gave myself a 9 on that because I don't always attend Super Saturday. Like sometimes if we're traveling or something, I don't like go out of my way to make sure I find a local one if I'm not even in my hometown or something. So that's the only reason I rated myself a 9, because other than that, I'm at everything. And like there's even, I know coaches that have like qualified for the Success Club trip and didn't go just because they're like, oh, well, it just doesn't work, or just like different things. And there's some reasons that I think are valid reasons. And then like, if you're just like not in the mood to go, then that's not really that good of a reason. But okay. Attends events. Okay, honest and vulnerable. This is something that I am working on, because that can be really hard with social media sometimes, because you're always wanting to, give this highlight reel of the good side of life. And, you don't want to post like any of the ugly photos you took during your workout that are not very flattering, even though that's probably what the majority of your workout did look like. But just being honest and vulnerable, sharing the good times and the hard times and your failures and your ups and your downs. And like that goes for social media, but I also think that it's a great trait, for like that one-on-one relationship between me and a personally sponsored coach, to be able to be honest and vulnerable with each other. I don't want I don't want my personally sponsored coach to give me the runaround. If you're not going to do it, then like, don't blow smoke up my, what. So it's like, just, I want that honest, vulnerable relationship, to be able to say like, I tried really hard. I reached out to 20 people and nobody responded or whatever. Like, I don't know for sure, but I know that there's probably been lots of coaches of mine that have told me they've done certain activities and they really didn't do a thing, so it's like, I don't have time for that. And I don't want them to have time for me to do that to them. So like that honesty and vulnerability, I rated myself a 7. I don't really know why, but I just thought that was good. Okay, the next one I put is fails forward. So I gave myself a 7 there. That is like, you're getting out there, you're trying the new social media trend, you're trying Instagram stories, and, you're doing things, you're, trying to implement new stuff and failing and figuring out why it didn't work and trying again. And that's always super important, because one thing that I hate about this business is seeing people that have so much potential, but then like they fail, like they get that taste of failure and they don't come back. They don't like try again. They're just like, oh, I talked to 5 people and nobody wanted it, so the end, and that's frustrating, because I know that they like have potential to really like change a lot of lives. So failing forward. Vision of a bigger picture. This one I used to be really good at, and right now I think that's probably one of my areas of struggle. So I rated myself a 5 there, just because it's not that I don't believe there is a bigger picture. It's just that I haven't defined my bigger picture. It's like, I was super motivated and driven and had this super focused goal when I was pregnant with Mikey, and I knew exactly what I needed to do in order to be able to leave my job. And I had a plan, and I knew exactly what my right leg, left leg volume needed to be. Like, I just knew everything down to the bottom nickel volume point, everything. And like, it's like, after that, I never really set that next big, or like as Jeff Hill would say, my next BHAG, my next like big, hairy, audacious goal. So, so that's why I put a 5 for myself there. And then the last thing I put is desire to help, which I put a 10. So that's my list of coach traits. I know it's 9 o'clock, but does anybody have anything that they wanted to like share about something that spoke to you on that list, or anything else that you would add to the list?
I would add honesty, like what you were saying about the no blowing smoke. Like, don't tell me you really, really want to do this, and then we put all time and energy into training and helping and doing weekly calls and all this other stuff. And then if nothing's implemented, it's kind of like, okay, well, do you really want it, or do you don't really want it?
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably add honesty to that on my list.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. How would you rate yourself in that area?
For honesty?
Yeah.
I'm always honest. But if I don't want to do something, if I don't believe in it, I'll say it. I don't care. Just because because there's so many people that are not honest with me with it. So maybe that's why. But like if there's something that I'm not 100% like, yeah, I don't really know if that's what I want to do, I'll say, like I'll try it, but I don't know if it's really like, I don't know if I think it'll work, but I'll give it a try. But yeah, I'm always honest. I don't like to blow smoke. I don't want somebody to put time into something if I'm just like BSing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Anyone else?
I think going along with what Tanya said, I would say commitment, kind of along the same lines. I'm not sure if you said that already. I got on late, but committing to the people that you're on a team with, and if you're committing to something, you're doing it every day. I was just making all of my food for tomorrow while I was on my call with Tanya, so I committed to the call and I tried to make it work into my schedule.
Yeah, I like that. I guess that kind of goes along with the category I put for reliable. But I think the other thing that goes really well with talking about committed is like when I first started as a coach, it was kind of like the vital behaviors, but it was called the game plan. And one of the things on the bottom, the last thing on the list was be here in a year. So like part of what Beachbody told you when you signed up as a coach was that they wanted you to commit to doing it for at least a year, which I think is smart. And I think that would be important. And I tell all my new coaches that too. Like I remember Sarah having that conversation with me all the time, like before she got to her year anniversary. She was like, all right, well, my year is coming up soon. So, but now she's a lifer, so she doesn't talk about that anymore.
Well, it wasn't that. It was just I had written a contract. I'll be there in a year. And then I kept signing up for Summit. And then I signed up for the next Success Club trip. And then it's just like, okay, well, I guess that's another year. So, like, well, here I am.
Yes. So, alrighty. Does anyone else have anything else you'd add to the list? Alrighty. Well, I'll post a screenshot of this list if you didn't get to write it down. But I think that it would be really good for you to like go down the list yourself and really think about each one of those qualities, or to make your own list of what you would like to attract, because this is an attraction marketing business. So if you don't know what you want to attract, then how are you going to attract it? So that's just something to think about and ponder on. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you guys all. We'll see you guys, in our Fit Family Obsessed group. So I'll see you guys tomorrow in there, and have a good night. Bye.